most of the painters are influenced by paintings by other painters, no?
Yeah.
In my case, the influence of other painters to me is their writings.
Oh, I see.
In other words, I was influenced by the writings of the Bauhaus school of painters.
Mm-hmm.
I was not influenced by the painting of Paul Klee, but I was influenced by the writings of Paul Klee.
So, Ocampo, Rodrigo, so you said you started as a shoe shine boy?
Yes, when I was 12 years old, my father was merely a section chief in the Bureau of Public Works, no? But we were so many, we were 12 in the family, 12 children. And I wanted to earn a little money for myself also. So the only way I could do it is by shining shoes. Although my mother was against it. He says, anong sasabihin ng mga kapitbahay? Naghihirap na tayo. Kaya sabi ko, hindi ba naghihirap na tayo? But when you did, I wanted to have money of my own.
How old were you then?
12 years old. And as I was saying, aside from shining shoes, I was selling newspaper in the morning. I was selling Meralco tickets in the morning. And so, then, eventually, because I used to shine shoes in the cabaret, no? When I grew up, when I was about 16, the son of the owner of the cabaret was my friend. So he took me in as a cashier.
What did your mother say about this cabaret?
Well, they allowed me to work for 1 year. But when they learned that some of the ballerinas were having little adventures with me, my father asked me to be fired out. He talked to the owner of the cabaret to fire me out.
I see. And you left the cabaret?
I left the cabaret. And then eventually, I applied as a clerk in the Philippine education, and that's where I worked for about 4 years. I owe the Philippine education a lot because that was where I was exposed to books. We were given special price. We were given a 20% discount for buying books. And every payday, I allot a little of my salary for books to start my own library.
I see.
Because even then, I was an avid reader. But before that, I used to go to libraries and borrow books only.
How much were they paying in Philippine education at this time?
I started at 30 pesos a month. But in those days, 30 pesos meant something. A messenger was earning 15 pesos a month only. And my first salary was 30 pesos a month. When it became 40 pesos, I got married already.
How old were you then?
I was 21 when I got married.
And then, executive secretary was this?
In 1935, 1936, it was so-called the mining boom. And there were various promoters. Some were establishing mining companies. But when the mining boom fell, those promoters went into something else. They were promoting the national paper mills without a paper mill.
And then, Ocampo Art Studio?
In those days, there were no advertising agencies. I have a brother who also draws a little. So we established a studio in Calao Arcade in Las Marinas. And we were selling layouts. For instance, you try to think, sino mga mabuting layout? Well, our first target is San Miguel Brewery. Very rich yan eh. We will make a layout about beer and try selling our layout. In other words, it's an art service thing. Kasi there were no advertising agencies. But these art services became the advertising agencies later on.
Parang precursor, no?
We earn two things. First, we sell our layouts, the drawings. When the drawings approved, at that time I was already writing. And when SP Lopez needed an assistant in the Herald, he asked me if I was interested. So I joined SP Lopez first as an associate editor of the Herald Mini magazine. Not first as an assistant to him. Later on, he gave me the title of associate editor.
SP Lopez was the editor.
He was the editor. He is now the president of UP. Eventually, the war came. The Pacific War broke out. And the Herald was bombed and closed. And eventually I joined Hernando po in the stage show business during the Japanese occupation.
Senior, of course.
Senior, the father. And that's where, while my official assignment as chief scriptwriter and assistant director, I was also acting. Whenever they need an actor, I was acting inside the play.
What kind of scripts were you writing?
Drama, comedies, musical.
Mga iyakan.
Whatever the public would like to see.
What's this? Stage shows?
Stage shows.
Ito, panahon na ba't nila Katie de la Cruz? Ano?
Yes. Actually, the book started long before that.
Long before?
But this is during the occupation. Then when the war ended, it was logical for us to go into movies.
Yeah.
So from the stage show, we transferred to the movie, and I became again the chief publicity and script department of Polaris Films and Fernando Po Productions. From there, the Manila Chronicle wanted an associate editor under Lanot, Serafin Lanot.
Yes.
Serafin Lanot. So I joined the Manila Chronicle first as an associate editor. When Lanot left, I became the editor. After that, there was a boom in radio dramas. So I was glued from the newspaper world to the radio world. I transferred not because I liked radio work, but because the compensation was 3 times bigger than the newspaper.
Yeah, that's true.
I was earning 600 as an editor of the Manila Chronicle a month. When I transferred to the radio, I was earning 1,600, 1,800. And in the radio, I was a trick.
How do you mean?
I was a writer, I was a director, and I was a producer. And once in a while, actor in the radio.
I mean, you read the scripts also?
Yes.
And then you became director of the National Media.
Yes, the National Media Production Center, which is a government entity until now it's functioning.
Then after that,
I joined Soulful.
at the time,
When President Magsaysay died, I joined the government through President Magsaysay, and I became the director of the media center. But when he died and President Garcia took over, we could not see eye to eye with the administration. They were sending all kinds of people to employ in the media center. I retired from Philpom in 1968. So for the last 5 years, I'm a full-time painter, except for this consultants, which is once a week only meeting.
yeah.
I was directing a radio show until the martial law.
Yung mga soap opera drama.
Because when the martial law came, ABS-CBN was closed.
So would you advise young artists like the ones we have now, would you encourage them to go abroad and get themselves exposed?
Yes, definitely. Because the more exposure you have, the more beneficial to the artist. In my case, what prevented me from going abroad is a matter of economics. I used to support 19 people.
19 people?
Yes. I became the head of a clan. And very close kami. When my father, even when my father was alive, he was an invalid. So I became the sole support of all my of my unemployed brothers and sisters, even to the point of sending my nieces and nephews to school.
But you would have wanted to go abroad?
If I had the opportunity, I would. I have nothing against it. Although first, there was no opportunity. Second, economics prevented me from doing it. Because I had won 3 scholarships before, no? But if I leave, I will be alright because I will have the scholarship money, no? But my family will be destitute.
What are these 3 scholarships?
I won the Smith Man Leadership Grant, no? I won the first Parisian scholarship in painting, which I transferred to Manansala.
You did not get it?
I didn't get it. I won the Italian scholarship also.
That's the one I got.
That you have now. But I didn't take advantage of it. Not because I was against going abroad.
But you were needed here?
Yes, I was needed by my family.
We have here, Mr. Ocampo, one of your earliest paintings. It's called Nativity. And it depicts apparently a Filipino man and woman, and then and the child, right?
Yeah, the child was born in the cart. It's a parallelism between the Nativity of Christ and the Filipino scenery. Presumably a farmer family. I see.
Even in this painting of Nativity, you did away and erased the eyes, nose, mouth. and simply concentrated on the figures of the body.
At that time, I was already beginning to stray away from the what you would call conservative or photographic painting. So out of that, you'll notice the year 1947, and in those watercolor abstracts, you notice it was 1945. I was already doing abstract. You know?
Oh, yes.
So I was painting from abstract to semi-abstract, and this is what you might call the transition period.
Oh, yes.
From the representational to the abstract painting.
That's it.
And if you want to be literary, I think the critics in those days were saying, I was painting every man, not a single man. So there was no identity.
Oh, yes.
I was not painting a single individual. I was representing my men as a men, capital M. But to me, it is merely a transition from the representational to the abstract.
I see.
Kasi critics have a way of explaining somebody's work.
Reading things where there are none.
But maybe subconsciously, maybe that was the case. I was not influenced by the writings by the paintings of Kandinsky. I was influenced by the writings of Kandinsky. And I was the Bauhaus school.
Yes.
So that's the reason, while I am influenced by their way of thinking, you cannot see it in my painting. Because I was not influenced visually. Most of the other painters were influenced visually.
Yes.
In other words, you can see the visual influence of one painter to the painting. Whereas how can you see abstract thoughts, di ba?
Yeah.
And I was influenced by the thoughts of this painter. And that is the reason why you can seldom trace visual influences on my paintings.
I see. You mentioned a while ago, Sir Ocampo, na noon maganda pa ang painting ni Zalameda.
At that time, while he was being influenced by Afro, he was doing good painting. Because it's not to be influenced.
Yes.
You cannot help being influenced. Whatever you see and whatever you experience, has to come out in your painting. Only eventually you have to find out your own signature. And I think Hoy has found out he has now a typical way of doing painting. While you can still trace the influence of the New York School of abstract painting and Afro, the present painting of Hoyas are Hoyas. The influences are there. What is bad is total copy. Which at this stage where what's happening? Ito parang copy, take off. Hindi lang influence.
And Mr. Ocampo, why do you say that Zalameda used to paint well before? What happened now? What corrupted him?
Maybe a success came to his head. I don't know. I'm not very sure what happened to him. Because even the first exhibition of Zalameda, after staying in Europe for 7 years, it was better than the second and the third and the fourth exhibition. I don't know why. I have a feeling he was in a hurry. He was given a deadline. In 2 months, he will schedule Europe for an exhibition. Then he says, can you produce about 30 or 40 paintings in 2 months? Then he does it in a hurry. Oh, that's my feeling. But I don't know exactly the reason, kasi I'm not very close to Zalameda. But he is deteriorated. His first exhibition was better than the second. His second was better than the third. And his fourth, I didn't even get to see it anymore.
I see. I see. So, Ocampo, would you care to talk about the Manansala's roots in Cubism?
Manansala is a very faithful follower of Picasso. If you want to make him angry, you say Picasso is not a good painter. And he will disagree with you even physically, violently. And I have a feeling Manansala should paint the way he's painting watercolor landscapes. Because he is a very skillful painter. And he is a very intuitive painter. And Cubism is intellectual. In other words, it's a little strange that he should be involved in Cubism, when Cubism is a very intellectual way of painting. And Manansala is a very intuitive painter, and a very good one at intuition. And if somebody could tell Manansala to paint as simple as the way he paints watercolor landscapes, I think he would be producing some very good paintings. Because I have a feeling his Cubism is not... He calls it transparent Cubism.
What does he mean by that?
That the forms are transparent. Nothing wrong there.
I see.
Whereas the purpose of Cubism is analytical.
Yes.
you analyze the form by going around it and going on top and below it. Because the conventional way of seeing is just one point of view.
Yeah.
If I want to see, if I want to paint that fervent bottle, I just paint it from this point of view and copy it. That is the conventional way of painting. But the cubist revolutionized this by going as he paints, he goes around. He takes all the facets. He takes all the facets. Then he goes below. He tries to see what's below it, and then he goes above. The painter changes position. Parang camera taking series of pictures. In other words, the focus is to analyze the form. It is analytical. And when it's analytical, it is intellectual.
Yeah.
And Manansala is basically an intuitive a painter. He uses his feelings. And his intuitions and feelings are very sound. About his intellectual activity, I'm not very sure. This is not to degrade Manansala. Manansala is a good painter. But I wish he would paint as simply as he would paint his watercolor landscapes. And I think he will produce a greater Manansala painting.
Do you have any professional rivalry with your fellow painters?
I have to compete with myself. I am not competing with other painters.
I see what you mean.
First, there is no way to compare painters. Para bang, which is better, a mango or a santol?
Yes.
If I like a santol is better. But there is no comparison. Now, some minor painters, they always compete with other painters. I don't have that feeling.
Yeah.
Kasi yung biggest competitor ko yung myself.
Maybe it's because at this stage you're very secure of your art.
No. Even when I was a beginner, I will imagine a painting. Then I try to paint it according to my imagination.
Yeah.
But always the painting is less than my imagination. The imagination is very beautiful. What can you paint? When you start painting it, you always fail.
Oh, I see.
That's the reason you paint another painting.
I see.
In an effort to equal your concept.
Have you destroyed any of your paintings which you consider bad?
I will never destroy anything. Because if I do a bad painting, let it be there to accuse me. Some people, they hide their failures.
Yes.
They destroy their failures. I don't. I make use of it as a lesson.
Yes.
In other words, painting number 1 served me as what to do and what not to do in painting number 2.
Yes.
Then in painting number 2, I look for lessons there of what to do and what not to do in painting number 3. So, Eric Torres describes some of my paintings as peaks and valleys. Now, other painters, they have their valleys also, but they hide it or destroy it. I don't.
Yes, that's very honest.
So, even if you destroy it, the fact remains that you have painted that painting. Di ba? I think it's more honest.
Yeah.
You failed to paint a good painting, so why destroy it? And to me, it's important. It serves as a lesson for the next painting. So why do you destroy it?
Yeah, that's true.
Now, I wish some bad, they would not buy it. I have some bad paintings na ayaw magbili. Pero pag nakita, pinigilid, bilhin din. And you cannot say no to mommy. Very few people can say no to mommy.
Mr. Ocampo, gusto ko sana if you can give us some commentaries on your contemporaries, no? Na, like for example, si Mr. Luz, for example, what do you think of his works, his development?
I would not want to comment on my contemporaries because they might think I'm trying to down them, Now, if they were present, and you have a frank discussion and they ask you for my opinion, I do that. Kasi para bang unethical naman For instance, even may comment on Manansala, it's a little unfair because it's not here. I can say this on Manansala because he's a very good friend of mine. He knows this as my attitude towards his painting. And then he would know, even if he listens to this interview, he would know that I'm not trying to down him.
I'm sure he knows you well enough.
He knows me well enough. Matagal kami makasama niya.
Si Aguinaldo, Mr. Ocampo, hindi ba, what do you think na very New York ang gawa niya?
Yes, but as I say, there is nothing wrong with being influenced. The only thing, maybe he should strive to get to put his own signature. And the last works of Lee, he was already able to do that. You can recognize Lee Aguinaldo when you see one. Although the influence of the New York School is still very strong.
And let's talk about the galleries. Mr. Ocampo, mag-reminisce nga tayo dito sa Philippine Art Gallery. I have not seen Leader Gilda Sala. So what was the role ba in Philippine art?
Because as I told you before, the reason why the old painters do not have exhibitions is because they lack the facilities for exhibiting. Because if you want to exhibit, you have to rent the Manila Hotel. You have to pay the rental there personally. You have to do your own, you have to print your own invitations, no? Send it out. You have to have capital. Now, fortunately, the UP at that time inaugurated what they call the UP President's Cultural Committee. And they were encouraging exhibitions in the UP Hall, wherein you have to climb 3 floors upstairs, you know? So very few people see the exhibition. But because it was so expensive to exhibit alone, we always get together, not 3 or 4, then we exhibit together. So we divide the cost of invitation, and if there is any refreshment served, we also share in, and that's the reason. When after the Philippine Art Association was formed, and it was only able to exhibit once a year, annually, Lead Argilla, well, for the purpose of both helping the artists and also having a business for own, established the Philippine Art Gallery. That it was a losing proposition. Why? There were a few buyers, they were making little commissions.
In spite of this, she put up the gallery.
Yes, and the painters help her. Once in a while, we donate paintings that she can sell to pay up the rental.
Here also you held art discussions.
Yes, well, when you're together, you discuss art. Whenever painters get together, you discuss art. And sometimes we see her so-called premium sales. She will sell 5 peso tickets. The prices are drawings, paintings, etc. And the prices are all donated by the artist.
Ito parang raffle?
Raffle, to raise some rental money.
Yung mura-mura ng mga prices ng panahon na yun.
At that time, yung painting nga, siguro 600 pesos lang.
Wow!
Para akong bumili. And yung group namin, Manansala, ako, we always sell, not as much, prices doon. Basta mag-exhibit kami ni Manansala, may benta kami. Hindi kami nasisiro. Whereas maraming painters nasisiro sa benta.
Mr. Ocampo, I wanted to ask you about Rotan Francisco, no? Because I know very little about this man, no? Because when I got interested in art, namatay na siya eh. Did you know him personally?
Well, Manila is a very small town and everybody knows everybody. And as a matter of fact, 2 weeks before he died, we visited him. But this fellow was not fraternized with the painters. Not very much in Manila. He stationed his place in Angono. He's some sort of a community leader. In other words, he was active not only as a painter in Angono. There is a fiesta, he is part of the fiesta committee. Siya ang manager ng basketball team yun. But he does not fraternize with the painters in Manila. He comes to Manila once in a blue moon. He is friendly to everybody, but
Manansala is a different case, no?
before he used to fraternize with us. Now he's already a very successful man. He lives in Binangonan. He doesn't go to Manila anymore.
I see. Francis, why do you paint in your sala? Don't you get bothered by people coming in and out?
No, they ask me, why don't I have a studio? The studio down in a specific room where you paint. I tell them, the whole house is my studio. I draw in the dining table because we are not dining the whole day, no? So, between meals, I draw. That's my drawing table. The bedrooms are my storeroom. And the sala is my painting room. So, while I have no studio, the whole house is my studio. Yung iba, na studio nila. Ako hindi, the whole house is my studio.
Do you mind that people watch you painting?
No, I don't.
Because some artists get conscious eh.
I am not very conscious. And as I was saying, I'm not a very interesting fellow to watch when I'm painting. You'll get sleepy.